necessarily democratic. So not everything out there is going to be of equal aesthetic or cultural value. Just because you can put stuff out there on the web doesn't mean to say it's necessarily worthy, worthwhile, valid, or necessarily interesting.
When they get tedious, they become more
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things. It's going to be those slices of life which almost accidentally appear there on the web, rather than those things which are necessarily kind of self-authored. It's going to be those ways of looking at user-generated content that kind of reads between the lines, that looks for the gaps in what's being shown and what's being said. The really important thing is to have a filter which doesn't seek to understand what the author of the piece is trying to do, but understand how it fits into culture. The text, the bit of video saying unconsciously, what are the bits missed out? So that for me is the critical bit. It's having some kind of analytical framework for understanding user-generated content. I think the more beneficial end for clients will be those accidental, unthought of, unconscious little elements in it. It may not even be the whole theme of what the author of the user-generated content is trying to get across. It's more like to be those little pieces that fall out of the side, little image in the corner or a little thing accidentally included that could be the keys to real insights. I think, yes, people are certainly people in terms of how they use the internet are getting used to not just being passive consumers of material, and that includes not being passive consumers of user-generated content. Certainly mechanisms which can be set up which provide feedback are useful. Again, I think it's not so much a question of reading what they say, but reading around the edges of how they are saying things and trying to pinpoint what the cultural attitudes underpinning any responses or indeed any generation of content is. So for me, the real key is not looking at the content, but looking at the structures and the forms and the concepts which underpin the content, exactly the context of the content, rather than the actual content itself. That's where the democracy does start to take hold, I think, not so much with kind of new innovations in content or branding, but actually in how people use products in a day-to-day life and their kind of very individualistic innovations within those. I think on a product level, there could be quite a lot to be learned from this kind of infinite monkeys approach to innovation, which UGC provides.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.